Ladies and gentlemen, this is the main event of the evening. And now, the champion, fighting out of Los Angeles, California. This man is a movie snob with a background in fighting and a lifelong addiction to all things superhero related. Presenting the reigning, defending, undisputed host of the show, the Iron Koob.
Hey everyone, here we are back already with episode 101, The Long Night. We are covering full spoilers for Game of Thrones Season 8, Episode 3, that just aired a few days ago. And it's just me and Everett this week. Everett, say hello.
Hey, what's going on?
And we're just going to go right into spoilers. So if you haven't seen this episode, don't listen at all. Okay, let's talk about who died.
Right off the bat.
Yeah, so Dolores Ed, you know him?
Yeah, I do.
He saves Samwell Tarly. Is that a big loss for you?
Not really. He's okay. We're on the same page. He's the new commander of the Night's Watch after Jon Snow left, right?
Oh, is he the commander? I didn't even know. I thought
Is
the
that-
Night's Watch was just broken.
Is that well? I thought he was. I thought he was the former commander. Is he not the guy that Jon made commander after he got resurrected?
You might be right.
Dolores.
thought-
Yeah.
Yeah, maybe he was, yeah.
Yeah, I think he was. But yeah, no, that really wasn't a loss for me. I mean, he was kind of one of the background characters in my eyes, and I mean, he's not one of like the major players in my opinion, so it wasn't really a surprise. But there are a couple on this list that, when we get into it, I'll talk about.
Well,
it.
considering that that all of his other Night's Watch friends have died, was when in that season, episode 2, when it was like they're like, and we're the only ones left, it was Ed, John, and Sam. Was there anyone else?
No, I think
That's it,
they
yeah.
were the only three standing there.
So, have you heard the rumor that Samwell Tarly will live on to tell the story of the Game of Thrones?
Yeah, I've heard that rumor around, and to be honest, I'm actually quite a big fan of that theory, because someone has to tell the story, and might as well be him, considering he can't really do anything else usefully. This entire episode was basically him like flopping around, not really doing anything useful.
Yeah, we'll get to that. So Beric Dondarrion.
Yeah, it's expected, but God, I don't like seeing him die, even though we've seen him die many times before. He
So-
died in a good way, though, in my
So
opinion.
he's a prophet of the Lord of Light. Is that the
I
case?
think so, yeah.
Okay,
That-
so
he
he's-
kept bringing him back for some reason, and I guess we figured that reason out.
Is it because his purpose was to save Arya and he hadn't done it yet, or was he doing other things?
I think it was to save Arya, because the
Always?
Melisandre had been talking, saying like, I think she said at one point like the Lord of Light keeps bringing him back for a purpose. We don't know what that purpose is yet, and then in this episode you see him save Arya, and then Arya does the deed later. We'll get into, but I think that's what his purpose was, and then he just died. But we all knew he was gonna die. Like, that really wasn't
Well,
a surprise.
He wasn't a big player, yeah. I mean, he was expendable. Let's put it that way. Another death, Jorah Mormont.
Again, not unexpected, but also kind of hard to watch.
Yeah, the reason it's not unexpected is because he's just so, like he can't have Daenerys. They're not going to end up together. It's not even interesting. I don't think fans want it. So he's been around for a long time.
Yeah, like since season 1, like, but he's been through so much. That's one of the reasons why, while it was expected, it also was kind of hard to watch, because we've seen him go through so much shit throughout the last 7 seasons that it kind of didn't really make sense for him to die, but in this instance it did. Like, why would you have him go through grayscale just to like die on the battlefield like this?
Well, I mean, you could say that's part of the drama, but I would agree that I don't think that this death suited him. But he
Yeah.
died protecting Daenerys.
Well, I
and
mean,
that's-
what death would have suited him?
I don't know. I've been trying to think about it, but like him dying here when so few others died, like named characters. I'm trying to think what's the point of removing him from the equation now. He could have died many other times. He could have died when they went to go get that White Walker. Like he could have died there, and it would have been somewhat heroic. This is heroic too. It's just there's so much happening, and also it's considered a victory overall. So for him to die and then it's like actually a victory, I wonder if Daenerys will have to process that at all.
Yeah.
Whereas going behind the wall to get the White Walker, that would have been considered a failure, even though they got the White Walker. Like they were in big trouble, and to lose someone, they lost that other what's his name, the other prophet guy who was bringing Darian back.
I don't remember his name. They lost a couple people, not a lot of
Remember.
people, a couple people in that battle.
Yeah,
They lost Viserion in that battle.
Well, yeah, Viserion, but other than that, who else?
Um,
They had a few like random people with them.
yeah, like not. I don't think they lost any like major characters there,
Yeah,
except for that one guy. I can't even
yeah.
remember his name.
right. Ever did you struggle to see the show with how dark it was? Like not in
Yeah,
tone, but like actually dark.
yeah, I wasn't expecting that like to it to be that dark. It made sense because the Night King brings the storm with him and everything, but yeah, it was like really difficult at times to see what was going on. Like all the smoke and the snow.
I
They
mean,
could have made it a little bit more light friendly.
well, I think that the point of it was to hide all the CGI that they weren't using.
Yeah,
That probably saved them a lot of money. You're right. It was just too dark. And we were watching it with all the lights off. So for us, it wasn't so much a matter of it's so dark, even though it was. It was that because we were streaming, sometimes the character's impressions on the dark screen, when it changed to someone else, like the impression would stay.
yeah, I was having similar issues to that. The
Yeah.
TV I was watching with the lights off too, but every once in a while, it might have been just the angle I was sitting at, but my TV couldn't process the darkness very like easily,
Yeah.
so it would like sort of like glitch out, make small little blurbs on the screen. Maybe that's what you were talking
Right.
about.
Yeah. Yeah. No, but mine would be like, remember when we played FIFA and sometimes like the character outline from the cutscene would just would be up on the lights for some reason. It
Yeah.
was like that sort of impression. And I think it's like you said, the TV, the streaming. If you watch it on Blu-ray at some point, it probably wouldn't happen. I'm gonna guess you could get a deeper black, but yeah. So let's move on. So one of my favorite parts was when the Dothraki, like they gave him the ignited swords and whatever,
Uh huh. Then they all die.
and then they charge, to give you some hope, like hey, it's gonna be, we have power behind us, and they go in there and like
Like one by one, all the lights start going out.
because it's interesting, the at night though you wouldn't see the White Walkers because they don't need light,
Yeah.
so they are actually just all standing there in the darkness, and like that was really cool. And then
Yeah.
yeah, as the lights start to dim.
Like maybe that puts it into perspective for people watching the show that don't really get it. So many goddamn people died in this episode. Like
Yeah.
all the Dothraki are pretty much dead. Almost all of them.
Yeah,
If
which is
not all of
good
them.
because I think we may have spoken about it, but I was thinking, how is Westeros going to support the Dothraki and the Unsullied? Like,
Yeah.
are they going to live there? Are they going to go back? Because like, yeah, that's a lot of the Dothraki are going to kill everyone.
Yeah, they're raiders. Like
Yeah,
they're like yeah, they're cold blooded.
yeah. Like let's say Daenerys dies at some point when she's old. The Dothraki horde will not just like bend the knee to anybody.
Yeah.
But yeah, when they died and the lights were flickering out, I was like, oh, we're in for some shit.
Yeah. They're like that, and I think I was telling you guys this the other day when when the White Walker army fully engages everybody at the front lines and they're like shambling over one another like a wave. That reminded me so much of when we're playing World War Z. The Horde looked exactly like that,
Yeah.
and it was freaky. Like, can you imagine being on the front line of a battle like that and just seeing that come at you? There'd be no hope left.
To anyone listening, make a zombie game with swords and shields instead of guns. like a medieval zombie game. That would be so first person. Can you imagine?
Yeah, I'm telling you, man. Like they already have the engine for World War Z already made. Can you imagine a crossover where it's this episode? You're in the front lines. You're on like the battlements. You're firing off the catapults, and they're just rushing at you. It's an
Yeah.
endless wave.
Yeah. Imagine like 16 player co-op
Oh man,
online and you're all trying to survive the horde.
that's a dream, man. That'd be great.
Yeah, it would. Um, okay, let's talk oh, we forgot someone who died. Liana Mormont.
Um, I don't know. Well, what her death means, like her and Jorah together, means Mormont House is like gone forever, right?
Extinct, yeah.
Yeah, but her death was a little gratuitous, if you ask me. Like she's always been kind of like that, trying to be badass character, and she's a kid, so I don't really get
It
it.
felt like fan service.
Yeah, it felt like fan service, but you know what? The one thing that kind of disappointed me was you saw her die, and she died kind of gruesomely. Like she got crushed.
Yeah.
But then you see her come back later, like she opens her eyes as a White Walker, and you don't get to see anyone face down against that. Like imagine
Yeah.
having to kill a White Walker child.
Yeah, or
Like
Benjen.
you'd hesitate. You'd hesitate.
I wanted them to see a White Walker that they knew, somebody, but they never did. Like Uncle Benjen or like you said, Liana, because all of their friends get resurrected.
Yeah. Like everyone you've just been fighting with comes right back up and starts attacking you.
Right, right. You know who I
kind
felt
of
like we didn't see enough of?
Who?
Tormund
Yeah, I mean he was there a little bit, but
at the beginning, and then he kind of disappeared.
yeah, there were a few like throwaway scenes of him just hacking away with an axe, but you're right, like he definitely was absent for most of the episode. A lot of people were like, and it makes sense because of how many people are in the episode. You have to split it up accordingly. But when you do that and you like do like split scenes like that where you just give everybody a couple seconds, it doesn't look very natural. Like I think you were telling me the other day that the scenes where you're watching Jaime Lannister and now Knight Brienne like all fighting like against the battlements, they look like they died like 8 times.
Jamie, Podrick, and Brienne were up against that wall forever, and each time you see them, they're like getting tackled by a horde of White Walkers, and then they cut to them again. They're doing the same shit again.
Yeah.
Like they just keep. I don't know how they shouldn't have survived. Not that I wanted them to die from a storytelling perspective, but
It
what we
makes
saw
logical
did-
sense that at least one or two of them should have died.
Yeah, it didn't make sense there.
Brienne should have lived, but Jamie probably definitely would have died because he only has one hand, and he's fighting with his offhand.
You're right. Yeah, but they're saving Jamie.
Yeah,
Um,
he'll die probably a more noble death, to be honest.
yeah, I think he's gonna attack Cersei. So, and probably the Mountain. We'll have something to say
I'll
about
bet
that.
you I'll bet you he kills Cersei, but the Mountain kills him.
Yeah, and I think that the Hound will kill the Mountain.
Yeah.
That's my guess. Let's talk. How does this battle compare? I guess spoilers. No, we won't. We won't even say it.
Well,
Forget
we're
it.
not through the death list yet, are we?
I think that's it.
No.
Oh no, we have. Yeah, Theon.
Yeah.
You know what? Theon's a character. I still don't even know why he's there. His redemption arc it's meaningless to me.
Yeah. I mean, he's definitely not an A character anymore. If he was at all. I get what he's like going for. Like, I took this castle from you. I'm defending you now. He's trying to redeem himself.
It's
But
too much.
you got to admit, though, with all that, like he and the Ironborn basically go down fighting the White Walkers, but then he just straight up dies when the Night King stabs him.
Yeah.
No effort involved at all.
Yeah.
He just runs and dies.
I didn't get that. To me, he was done as a character when they rescued him from Ramsay, and then when Euron attacked and he jumped into the water instead of saving his sister. That to me was like the end of Theon. Like, I don't need to see him come back and then redeem himself again.
For me, the end of him was when he helped Sansa escape from Ramses. I honestly, or Ramsay, I honestly thought he should have died there, like when they're crossing the river.
Maybe,
and he,
yeah. He was still Reek then.
Yeah, he should have died in that area. like defending her there.
I didn't care for his death here.
Yeah, it seemed a little too. I don't really know how to describe it.
Yeah.
Like underwhelming, maybe. He deserved a better death, but I guess that's what we get. But it wasn't unexpected. We all knew he was definitely up the top of the list to die.
Okay, so in the crypts, so are those all the Starks that were buried there?
Yeah,
That
everyone
are,
that came out of
oh
one of
my
those
God.
crypts were dead Starks.
And yeah, that's terrifying when you
I
think
mean,
of it like that.
and I know everyone was saying like, "What if you see Ned Stark and everyone come back?" I realized halfway through this episode, you're not going to see Ned Stark because Ned Stark got his head chopped off.
But is he even? I guess he is buried in Winterfell, right? Did
Yeah,
they send his body back?
I think they sent his body back, but his head definitely stayed up on the rafters when Joffrey kept it there. I'm pretty sure.
Jesus.
I wanted to see. I'm blanking on their mother's name.
Oh, Catelyn Stark.
Yeah, Catelyn Stark. I wanted to see her just a little like nod to the fact that she comes back in the books. Just a tiny nod. I wanted to see that, but they didn't show it.
So, does the Night King resurrect any dead person in the vicinity?
I don't know what the range is, but it certainly seems like that. He can't. I don't think he can resurrect anyone that got killed by Dragonglass or Valyrian Steel, but he could definitely resurrect.
Okay, we had some technical difficulties and we're back. Um, let's move on here. So Sam Tarley, I think we kind of already discussed him, but he definitely seemed like he should have died many, many times.
Yeah,
Um,
many many times.
I do like that
Like
one
I s
scene where John sees him, but can't stop,
Yeah.
and
What
like
was Sam like begging for him to come help or?
he said John, like he called out to him, but I don't think he was begging for help. Just like I'm here, help me, like not like help me, but help, um, or like look at the situation, that sort of call out. Um, yeah, and I like how John just
What
had to
did
keep
you
going.
I had a question for you. What did you think of the whole like Arya sneak mission?
Okay, we're back again from technical difficulties. Um, we were talking about Sam.
Yeah, we were talking about Sam about how he was like calling out to John. I had a question for you though. What did you think about the scenes where Arya was sneaking away from the White Walkers in the library?
Yeah, well, I liked it because I wanted to see if they would keep up the major battles for in an entire hour. So obviously the answer is no, and then they found a way to put something else that was equally suspenseful. I didn't think she was gonna die because she had survived for so long in those like library in the halls. I feel like if she was gonna die, she would have died pretty quick into it. But after like the fourth time she escaped, I was like, okay, she's not meant to die here.
It definitely made me jump though when she came around the corner and ran right into one of the White Walkers.
Oh, I didn't jump because I'm like, she's gonna have a run in with one of them. There's no way she's not. But I liked how she just stabbed it immediately,
Yeah,
and then it like bled all over her.
good old assassin training put to work right there.
So let's talk about Bran. He was just being a raven the entire time, right? Is that what was going on?
No, he was watching Endgame the whole time.
Yeah. Was he just being a raven, just
Yeah,
surveying the situation?
I think so. Have you heard that theory that Bran? Do you remember in episode one? I think it was episode one where Daenerys and Jon are riding around, and they find that little secluded area, and they make out, and the dragons are watching them.
Yeah.
People think that when Drogon's looking at Jon like that, that it's Bran watching him through the eyes of the dragon.
No, because don't their eyes change when Bran is using them?
I mean, I know the Ravens did, but he can see through pretty much anyone, right?
I think their eyes have to change.
All right, I might be
Yeah.
wrong. They might be wrong, but whatever.
Um,
But yeah, I think he was just being a warg the whole time.
so back
Just
to the crypts. What was with Sansa and Tyrion? Are they talking about getting married?
I really don't know. I think they were having a bonding moment when everything was getting attacked, but I don't know. I don't really see them together like that. They've already been married once, And they seem friendly enough with each other now.
And he's so much older than her.
Yeah.
I guess that doesn't matter in this universe, but it definitely seemed like there was something there. So did you get that vibe too?
Yeah, I kinda.
And then
I
they
mean,
said what's her name would never allow it. I don't know if that was Sansa just talking like bullshit or what, but
I'm still thinking back on that one moment. Do you remember back in season one, Robert Baratheon was like, "You have a son, I have a daughter. We'll join our houses." Like
yeah.
I'm still. I know it's not like he's Tyrion's not a Baratheon, but I'm still thinking like something's got to happen where maybe that comes to pass. Oh wait, no wait, that did come to pass. That was Arya and what's his face. Uh,
Gendry.
yeah, that already happened. Never mind.
Well, in the preview for the next episode, it showed her like, kissing someone again.
Sansa?
No, Arya.
Maybe it's him. I don't know. I like them together.
Yeah.
But
Okay.
they've been hyping it for a long time, so better pay off.
Um, let's talk about Daenerys and Jon Snow on the dragons.
Um,
One thing I liked about this episode about the two of them is that they really didn't do a whole lot. Like their dragons. First of all, the dragons seem incredibly vulnerable to the Night King and his spears. So every
yeah.
time like they start hovering, I get really nervous. I'm like, they're really easy targets. And then aside from their initial fire rampage, they were basically neutralized,
Yeah, basically,
and they had
like
to fight Viserion.
yeah, they had to fight Viserion. They that when they clashed in midair, dude, they got
Yeah.
fucked up.
Now there was an earlier clash, and that was with John flying into Daenerys. Is that right?
Yeah, but that
Okay.
wasn't like a battle clash. That was just like a midair collision.
Yeah.
When they see the Night King and like he's like blowing fire at them and stuff, and they clash midair, like John and the Night King like hit each other and they start scratching one another. Then Drogon comes and knocks the Night King off.
Yeah.
But man, they're like it looked really brutal that entire sequence. Like Viserion got his face ripped off.
Did he? I couldn't even tell. I
Yeah,
remember seeing one of them get their. I'm gonna say it was Drogon got his chest ripped,
yeah.
or maybe it was Rhaegal.
It was Rhaegal that got his chest ripped. But
Yeah.
if you look closely, Rhaegal rips Viserion's face clean in half. Like half of his face is gone. There are rips up and down his neck, and you can see that when later on in the episode when Jon is squaring off against him in the courtyard, Viserion's like gone nuts. The blue flames are like coming in and out of his neck. Like you can see it kind of like spilling out. It looks like a real zombie dragon, not like sort of like an
Yeah, yeah,
ice
yeah.
dragon.
I really liked when Jon could not find a way to attack Viserion.
Yeah, man, that gave me shivers for a second. Like that would have been cool though. Like Jon slays a dragon.
Yeah.
Obviously,
So
it didn't happen that way, but it
yeah,
still would have been cool. Jon the Dragon Slayer.
it would have been cool. Yeah. Although it doesn't really work if he's a Targaryen, but
Yeah, I guess. Well, it's not a dragon anymore. It's a White Walker.
so I would encourage anyone to listen to look up some Game of Thrones memes because they've been pretty good this season. I really like the basketball ones with Arya. Like there's one of her like dunking. Well, it's like a basketball player but with Arya's face on it. And there's one I sent you, Everett, that's like a basketball player being celebrated by all his friends, and they put Arya's head on him, looking right at the camera, and it's like that's game. Like,
Yeah,
yeah, I mean, she did it. Are you? So she's the prince that was promised,
yeah.
right?
I guess so.
So what does that mean for her in the future? Like her role is done, isn't it?
Okay, well, what was the prophecy? Was it just that the prince that has promised would kill the Night King?
That's what I mean, that's what it's been, but I guess it could change.
Like, really let that set in for a second, though. The Night King, ever since
Azor
season one,
Ahai. The prince that was promised is implied to be the reincarnation of Azor Ahai, a legendary warrior who lived thousands of years ago. According to Melisandre, a red priestess of the Lord of Light, the prophecy goes like this. Darkness will fall heavy on the world. Okay, then it cuts off. Let me try to find... I want to know what the prophecy is.
right?
Okay. Darkness will fall heavy on the world. Stars will bleed. The cold breath of winter will freeze the seas, and the dead shall rise in the north. In the ancient books, it is written that a warrior will draw a burning sword from the fire, and that sword will be the Lightbringer. Okay.
Okay, so was that like Dondarrion at some point? Like, because he's the one with the flaming swords. Dothraki had flaming swords, but I don't think that's them.
Yeah, and then it's a gender neutral word in High Valyrian. So Daenerys thought it might mean her.
But does it explicitly say that the prince or princess who was promised would slay the Night King?
It doesn't say that, other than they'll bring light to like the winter, and I think, yeah, that's what it implies.
I feel like that could still be Daenerys though with her dragons.
No, it's got to be Arya, because Dondarrion died to save her.
Then I guess you're right. It does have to be Arya.
And then remember, when in season 3, when Arya has a brief encounter with Melisandre, who says, "I see a darkness in you, and in that darkness, eyes staring back at me, brown eyes, blue eyes, green eyes, eyes sealed shut forever. We will meet again." Remember, I sent you that video.
Yeah, I saw it. But
I forgot about that completely.
yeah, so did I. And to be honest, I don't think they meant White Walkers when they wrote that.
It says blue eyes.
Yeah, but
Well, maybe that was a hidden thing. Maybe they knew.
maybe. I mean, it's gotten to the point. This is way past where George R. R. Martin has written. So
Yeah, probably better.
yeah, I think it's going pretty well.
Is Viserys alive in the books?
I don't remember. I haven't read that far into them.
I don't want to start them because I feel like they won't get finished.
Yeah, I mean, how old is George R. R. Martin by now?
Okay, Arya has. Okay, wait. Shutting green eyes. Does Cersei have green eyes?
Um, I thought Cersei was gonna be killed by Tyrion. To be honest, because like wasn't that prophecy that Cersei got when she was younger, when she met that witch, saying, not you'll meet your end by one of your brothers or something, right? What is it? I have to look that up.
Oh, Cersei's prophecy? It's
Cersei's
about her
prophecy.
children, I thought.
It was about her children, but I thought there was also a mention about her brother. What is it? I need to find this.
I got it. Cersei's prophecy. She promised me 3 children. She promised me they'd die. Yeah, I think that was it. You'll never wed the prince. You'll wed the king. Which came true. You'll be queen for a time. Then comes another, younger, more beautiful, to cast you down and take all you hold dear. That was Marjorie. The king will have 20 children, and you will have 3. Gold will be their crowns, gold their shrouds. What are shrouds?
They're death shrouds.
Death, yeah. So the king did have multiple illegitimate children, while Cersei has Joffrey, Marcella, and Tommen. All of them are dead. Blah, blah, blah.
I could have sworn there was a moment like where they mentioned like she would be slain by one of her brothers.
She has a 4th child. No, there's nothing here about a brother. So she has a 4th child, but we'll see. If I've heard rumors that people think that that's not a real thing, but so Arya Stark did it. The Night Walkers are gone. Think about that. God damn it! Oh, you're still here? Okay.
No, I'm still here.
Jesus.
Yeah. Think about like all that. This whole scope. Everyone is pretty much dead. I want to say around 80% of the Unsullied are gone. All of the Dothraki are gone, and all the White Walkers are gone. That's a major leap in for one episode.
Yeah. So the reason I thought they were going to win, I thought we would lose more of the main players, but the reason I thought they were going to win is because it's only the 3rd episode. if they lose, then it's just Cersei versus the White Walkers. That's not really like there's not enough there to have a true Game of Thrones like season of twists and turns.
Right.
So they would have to win. But I thought more people would die, and then it would be like who picks up the pieces if Jon's dead or Daenerys is dead or Sansa's dead or something like that. That's what I thought might happen. But another reason that it makes sense is so they win, but they're clearly what's the word when it starts with D when you've been like devalued, whatever. Their forces are diminished. Yeah, I think that's it. Their forces are diminished. They don't have the Dothraki anymore. That was a huge reason why they were winning land battles.
Right.
They still have the dragons if they're battle ready, which they probably aren't. And they still have some of the Unsullied, but they're pretty diminished. So what this does is halfway through the season, we now have the good guys up against a stronger enemy force, which is what you want. It's a good storytelling.
Right.
So I don't know what else they're going to do because for sure the next episode will have people bending the knee to Daenerys because of her dragons and how they performed. Arya will probably become a celebrity. We're probably going to see a lot of Cersei now, a lot of stuff going over there. But before we get to the big Cersei versus, the Starks, there's got to be something else that happens, which I don't know. I'm super excited to find out, though.
Right. By the way, what I was saying earlier about the prophecy about the little brother, it wasn't from the show, it's from the books. That prophecy you read has one more line, which is, when your tears have drowned you, the Valonqar shall wrap his arms around your pale white throat and choke the life from you. And Valonqar is High Valyrian for little brother.
Oh, geez. But they took that out of the show, huh? Yeah,
they took that out of the show, which is why I don't think they're going to do that, but it's definitely an option.
Yeah. Okay. Well, so spoilers for Avengers Endgame now. We're not going to discuss Game of Thrones really much more. Other than one question, Everett, how does this compare to Endgame for you? This final battle.
Say that one more time. You cut out.
So this final battle versus the Endgame final battle.
Ooh, well, they're different in a lot of different ways. I like Endgame. People die in this one like a shit ton. It's a lot more graphic. It's a lot darker. And there's a lot more stakes involved. In Endgame, it's a great battle. It's a great scene to watch, but everyone's gonna live pretty much.
Yeah, they should have killed War Machine.
Yeah, they should have killed War Machine, but
that would give it some stakes. Like, oh, who's gonna die? Who's next? Yeah. But I was talking to someone about this, and we didn't really touch on it yesterday. But if you had killed War Machine, then you would have had to have 2 funerals at the end. And from a storytelling perspective, you can't do that. So basically, no one can die in the final battle because you can't take away the spotlight from Tony Stark, right?
Right.
And if you kill him in the second act, then the plot doesn't work because they have just enough people. I guess Thor could have done the Aether thing by himself, and you could have sent Rocket with Nebula, and you could have killed War Machine some other way.
I suppose.
He's really the expendable one, though, isn't he?
He's definitely lost his usefulness if he had any at all.
I'm really surprised he made it to the end.
What purpose does he serve other than pretty much he's Black Iron Man?
Yeah. I'm itching to rewatch Infinity War, to be honest.
I want to watch the two back to back, even though that'd be 5 hours of my life.
They're so different. I don't know about back to back. But Infinity War now that it's cemented, we know where the chips land.
Just to see how it
I think there's a lot of good stuff in there now that I can appreciate more. Like Doctor Strange especially.
Yeah. Knowing what he's talking about when he says there's only one. Yeah. This is the only way.
Yeah. All right, so we'll be back with Godzilla and another Game of Thrones episode.
All right, sounds good. In a
week's time. All right, see you later.
See you there.
Thank you for listening to the Iron Koob Fights Movies. If you enjoyed the show, please be sure to like, share, subscribe, and most importantly, review our podcast on iTunes so that we can spread the show around. To contact the show, you can reach us at theironkoob@gmail.com and on Instagram at theironkoob. Join us for another edition of the Iron Koob Fights Movies.